Today's episode of my music series is going to be Korn versus Disturbed. Let me say it again with some emotion. Korn, yeah, baby, yeah. Korn versus Disturbed. Jonathan Davis versus Donegan, two of the best lead singers of their heavy metal alternative rock bands. So let's get into this video, shall we? Now, before we start this YouTube video, let me just straight out and say I want to send my condolences to the lead singer of Korn. Now, I can't sit here and say I know what it feels like to lose a significant other, your wife, your partner, the one person that was the number one guiding force in his whole entire career and in life. When you lose your wife, when you lose your lover, when you lose your significant other, there's like an emptiness in you, and you don't feel like you're the same person. Like your music, your songs, and all that, they're never going to be the same. I lost my mother last year. I lost my mother to breast cancer, and I felt that same emptiness. I was never the same again. I never felt that I was completed, and if I ever meet my significant other, I'm probably gonna have the same feeling as he has. Things are never going to be the same. So I want to say, I'm with you. I know what it feels like to suffer a tragic loss, and it's in the middle of your career. Things are doing good, things are taking off, and then all of a sudden, tragedy comes. So, I'll be praying. Hope you get better, and not now, but maybe in a year or two. Didn't give us an album. I don't want you to do an album right here, right now. Wait about a year or two, and then when you're ready. And here's the thing: I don't want no one asking the lead singer of Korn, "Dude, when your next album's coming out?" Let him grieve, let him process, and let him decide when he's ready. When I was not going to the gym and not playing basketball, people was like, "Dude, when you gonna play basketball?" And I was like, "I just lost my mother." People was like, "When you gonna go to the gym and lift weights?" It's like, "Dude, I just lost my mother." Show some respect. So that's basically what I'm saying in this video. So you have my condolences. I know what it feels like to lose someone. So I'll be with you. Now let's get into the video. Now, he started his alternative rock career in the mid 1990s. The year was 1994. And at this point, he had just started. He was going to small cities, small towns. He was going to places like New York City, Chicago, Detroit. He was going to Milwaukee. He's going to places like that, smaller venues and small clubs, trying to see if anybody liked his style of music. At this point, Marilyn Manson was already a made name, and a lot of people was wondering who was going to be that next big star. And Jonathan Davis felt that he could live up to that reputation, and he did. And finally, I would say when he had his first album came out, it had about 12 or 13 songs on it. He had like 5 good hits, but there was one good rock song that really made everybody nod their heads. And everyone was playing his music. And by 1996, 1997, his album went from platinum to double platinum and sold over 100 million copies worldwide. Now, at the time, I weren't a Korn fan yet, because I wasn't sure if he was going to be around for 10 years. Because when I started listening to a lot of music with rock and hip hop, back in then they made this TV show called One Hit Wonders, where you make this one good hit, and then after that, your career falls dead. So I couldn't be a fan of him just yet, because I was afraid, what if I become a fan of this guy like I am with Marilyn Manson, and then he's not around for the long haul. It wasn't until much later, like around 1999, 2000, that I actually started to listen to some of his music. By 2001, 2002, he had just done his fourth album, his third or his fourth album. And I heard the vast majority of his music in a movie called Queen of the Dam. That's when I really became a fan of Korn. Now, I was listening to his music in the 90s, but I weren't a fan yet. But when we got to those 2000s, he stepped his game up so much that I just said, fuck it, I'm going to be a fan of Korn. I mean, the guy's got my interest. It's high school. I'm a teenager. I keep getting in arguments with my parents. I'm rebelling against school. This is the perfect time to be a Korn fan. So once he had songs like when he did that album with Disturbed, Forsaken, that was a good one. And then when he did Not Meant for Me and I Slept Alone, those were some personal songs right there that if you had trouble with your girlfriend or your wife, you can relate to those songs. And then talking about fighting against the system. When he made System, I really couldn't stop playing it. I hated high school. At the time when I was a kid, I couldn't stand the police pulling me over every single time. I'd even had a car. I would be walking down the street, minding my own business, waiting for the bus to go home from school, and then the police would just come fuck with me. Every single time, just fuck with me. And every time I felt like I was being fucked with, there were only two damn songs I would be playing if I had the album. System by Korn and then DMX. Because I always felt like I was always being fucked with by the police. Just for whatever reason being fucked with. So, and when you hear the passion in his rock songs, he gonna give you 110% of his heart and soul. He tells stories. He gives you heavy metal. He gives you rock and roll. He gives you alternative rock. He plays 4 different genres of music in one album, and they're all good songs. They're all smash hits. I don't think you could find, out of all 7 of his albums, I'm pretty sure there'll be album number 8. In all 7 of his albums, you would never find out one single bad song that he's ever done. Every song he done was great. No Way. Where you hear the beat dun 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 dun, you like, oh shit. He's talking about what happens if life falls apart. Those were some good songs. I Did My Time. And to have each time you listen to a Korn song, you could feel the energy. You could feel the emotion. It's like when you listen to his song, you're already a part of his rock band. You're already a part of his crew. It's like you're already in the crew. With each Korn song you listen to, it's like you're there personally. It's like you were there when they were making those songs. And it's like you're not just a fan, you're a part of the crew. And then I had a friend that I met in college that 4 years after me and him separate from going to college, he actually met one of the band members who were doing songs for Korn at the time. This was like maybe 2007, 2008. He had met a guy that had ties to rock and roll, and he did Korn, and he liked to go to a lot of the Korn concerts. They were doing one in Mexico, so he went to one in Mexico where they were doing all the songs from his past albums. He got an autograph signed, pictures and all that. And, he told me about it. And he told me if you were such a huge fan, you would have, went. And I told him I got to save up money and, find out where these locations are and then go. And pretty much Korn is great in the sense that their music is always getting better. It's like when Jonathan Davis go in the studios, it's like he's, not to be trying to say he's like another Tupac, but he has the same work ethic. The guy gets up early in the morning, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. The guy goes in the studio and he grinds out 5 damn songs. By the time you get to high school, he's already halfway finished with an album and ready to start another one. That's how committed he was to this. And when he started, showing up at the music awards and performing at the music awards, you could see the emotion into his music. Like, you could see why people like his music. Now, I do know that somewhere down the road, it was some controversial about him talking about, Barack Obama, the president, and how he don't think it's right for people to, spy on people's, privacy, which he stuck up for, and made a song, and then come to find out, he made a song about it. And of course, he's pretty up there, in music. If I had to say, he's just right there with Marlon Manson. Like, he's there. He's on the same level. And every single year, he has brought his A game. The guy stays working. The guy stays grinding. He's always trying to improve. And sometimes he would even go against his own band to make himself better. Now today, you get bands today, they just want the money and the fame and the girls, and they don't care about the music. They don't care about the passion. It's like, the hell with the passion. I just want the money and the fame because it gives me the girls. Why, Jonathan Davis, on the other hand, he's all about the passion. He's all about the work ethic, and then later on, he worries about all that other shit. So that's the difference between him and today's artists. When he did that song, Evolution, again, you're seeing the passion in his songs. Now, there are a lot of artists who have made their own version of the song Evolution, obviously. Evolution, and I'm gonna dawn on my face, and I'm 1,000 years from now. They say these motherfuckers are down the range. You should know the lyrics of the song. I'm just trying to tell you some of his accomplishments. He actually got a reward for that song. It was a shock to have to see someone put in so much work after all this time. Now, we switch over to Donegan. I know his last name's kind of funny, but he's the lead singer of Disturbed. He also got his start in the 1990s and the 2000s. Now, however, he was a teenager. He was like maybe 15, 16 years old, and he was a huge fan of the rock music from the 1970s and the 80s. And he had already had a rock band when he was a teenager. And he did so many good songs with the 1980s style that it got the attention of music producers, sponsors, and promoters. And someone sponsored him some money anonymously, and he cut an album. And the album was good, and it led to him doing his first LP. And he got onto the scene. Same thing with Disturbed. I wasn't really a fan of Disturbed in the 1990s because, again, I wasn't sure if these guys were going to be around in 10 years. Because a lot of the bands that I was a fan of, by the time I got to 2000, the band was dead. I was a huge fan of Backstreet Boys. By the time we got to 2002, there was no more Backstreet Boys. By the time we got to 2005, there was no more NSYNC. So I was fans of bands, but by the time I got into high school and towards the end of high school going to college, there were no more of these bands. So I was a little hesitant on being fans of these guys. And again, it wasn't until they did a theme song in 1996 that got me instantaneously hooked on their music forever. Glass Breaks. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. When they had Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme song, I was like, oh shit. The glass breaking, the rattlesnake coming off the screen, Stone Cold coming out ready to whoop your ass. He got the beer in his hand. He coming with the truck. I said, oh shit, I gotta be a fan of these guys. When I found out Disturbed did Stone Cold Steve Austin's first song, I was hooked. And then to turn around 2001 and remix his theme song and add it with words. So shit. That was 2 songs. And then the song that really made me hooked. Dun dun dun. Do you feel that? Dun 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 dun. Do you feel that? Dun 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 dun. Oh shit. Dun dun dun. Down with the sickness, assuming the fun. Down with the sickness. Once they played that, I was instantaneously hooked on their music. It was like every time they popped out a song, it was fucking great. Warrior. And then they came back with that other song that got me hooked. Because I loved the Warrior so much that I would start bumping it. And then they had that other song, they got Hunted. They got the song about revenge. And it's like, oh shit, they got so many fucking songs that each one I play, he would put his heart and soul into the song. It's like he was a rebel without a cause. It was like, yeah, it's not American tradition, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna give you something new, something fresh, something you ain't never seen before, something you ain't never heard before, something ain't never done before. And I would start playing every damn song of Disturbed. Got a Disturbed t-shirt because it's part of my childhood. It goes back to when I was a huge wrestling fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that's why I love Disturbed. By the time we got to the 2000s, I was listening to a lot of Disturbed, a lot of Korn, Marlon Manson, Rob Zombie. I was listening to those four people in the 2000s when I got into high school. And that's when people made fun of me, teased me. Man, you should be a fan of 50 Cent. You should be a fan of Too Short. And it's like, I've listened to all their music in the 1990s, and hip-hop started to fall apart. Like, hip-hop started to have its problems around 2003, 2004, 2005. Got worse in 2007. You know, hip-hop was now becoming a laughingstock. It was now becoming a parody of itself. And rock started to get more momentum. It's like the people that were huge fans of Too Short, Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, people that were fans of them, they were slowly but maturely shifting over to alternative rock, heavy metal rock, and rock and roll. Because now hip-hop had this foolishness that kind of, I don't want to say it killed the music industry, but it crippled it to where anyone could come in the rap game and just rap about something, whether it made sense or not. And the reason why I liked it Disturbed and I liked it Korn so much was because these guys talked about the good times, the bad times, how life is in a good way, in a bad way. They talked about stuff that you could relate to. They weren't always about money, money, money. I got to get girls, girls, girls. And whether I knew it or not, I was listening to their music more and more and more because I could relate to them. Whereas when I heard the name 2 Chainz, it's like, I can't relate to nobody named 2 Chainz. Future, I can't relate to no Future. I mean, these guys got funny names I ain't never heard of before. And when I tried to listen to their music, I couldn't understand it. It's like all they talk about is the same shit. Whereas Korn give you something that you can relate to. Like, y'all remember that happened to me when I first got a girlfriend. And when I first broke up with a girlfriend. Disturbed, you'd be like, yeah, I know what it feels like to want revenge on someone. So they had songs I could relate to. By the time we got to 2010, I was full on alternative rock, heavy metal rock, and rock and roll. Whereas hip hop and rap music started to slowly listen to it less and less and less. Now, people might ask, in the 1990s and the 2000s, who's better? Now, this is the only time I'm going to ever say this in a video. I got to say it's a tie. Now, people would want me to say it should be Korn right off the bat, and it should be Korn, but let's be honest here. Every single year, Korn and Disturbed have gone back and forth, being on the same level as each other. Every time Korn does real good, Disturbed comes right up on the same level as them. Every time Disturbed does good, Korn comes right back and gets up on the same level. So it's almost impossible for you to just look at both groups and say Korn's better. So I would say it's a tie. This is the only time this is going to happen in a video like this, that it's a tie. Both lead singers are great. Both bands are great. Of course, we could argue that ever since Korn lost their drummer in 2006, that the sound of music has gone down a bit, where the lead singers had to change his sound 4 to 5 times. Now, every band loses their singers or drummer. It always happens over money dispute. So it's a tie. Until next time, next episode, it's going to be DMX versus Snoop Dogg. You're going to really love that one. Next time, peace.